Hello, and welcome to my information package on this month's deal. The purchase of individual three-bedroom positive cash flow townhouses. They're located in Merritt, BC, which is a couple of hours outside of Vancouver. It's on the road out to Kamloops, so it's nice and easy to get to. So you don't have to take a ferry ride to get there. So let's get started. So first off, there's a picture of the property there, as you can see, and a little bit more information on what you need. Little introduction letter from me and explaining a bit about the Vancouver Real Estate Club. My name's Thane, by the way. Here's a picture of one of the units outside. As you can see, nice, and that's the utility shed there, and nicely manicured lawn. Everything's taken care of quite well. The units are in great shape. A little bit about the executive summary, what you're here to do: acquire property, positive cash flow assets. I got some under contract, so I can help you with that. They're all positive cash flow. They can be purchased for the appraised value, and you can do a joint venture with yourself, or you can pay your own closing costs and down payment, or you can do a joint venture with one other of the club members. And so you need about to be able to qualify for at least about $100,000 mortgage on the property. And I'm building a number of different exit strategies as well throughout. So you can get in, invest, and get out, or just buy and hold for the next 20 years. Location analysis: the city is actually growing quite nicely. It's again on the road out to Kamloops there, and that's the city where they have that big music festival once a year. So information, BritishColumbia.com to search on Merritt, and then Merritt.ca has got a fantastic explanation of where the city's at and the growth that's taken place there. I've got some comparables on sold comparables of 3-bedroom, 2-bath condos, and then a little bit of an older renovated a unit needed large renovations. So that's the story on that individual unit. So we're pricing in between some of these two prices. And so I've listed up for $106 a square foot, and versus comparables or at other prices. Tax assessed values are where they're at. I can get you the tax assessed numbers on them as well. And so basically we can work out a deal. That's just the strategy is long-term buy and hold. Pictures, these are some of the older ones, as you can see, and then I've got some newer ones down here. These are just taken short time ago. As you can see, laminate flooring on most of the units, relatively upgraded, and yeah, they're nice little locations. Everyone drives trucks and stuff, so that's cool. They can afford a truck, they can afford to live there. So yeah, it's basically it's comparative market rents for the property. So financials, this is the first option. So this is you put down your mortgage, you buy the property as is. You put down a 20% mortgage, $25,000. $100,000 mortgage, 1.9%. I can get these at CIBC, so 30-year amortization offered at the CIBC. They know about the project. They're happy to offer that rate to everyone that qualifies for it. There's closing costs and legal fees, so lawyer costs $950. Inspection, if you want to do one, of $300. So property transfer tax on the purchase is $2,500. So total cash out, $28,750. Rents out for again, the renovated units rent for between $950 and $1,050. So I just averaged that to $1,000. The two unrenovated units rent for $877 and $930. So again, if you want the two unrenovated ones, we could work out a deal, and then that'll be actually worthwhile, because then they'll be worth $125 after renovations. So we can work something out there for you on those two other opportunities as well. So vacancy rate, again, it's I'm offering a rental warranty with this purchase. So that means I will pay your mortgage if it goes vacant in the next 5 years. So I'm running I'll talk about a little bit the website I'm running as well in order to get a lot of buyers for the property. So you can leave the vacancy rate at 0 or whatever you want it to be, because I'm basically supporting your mortgage no matter what. So that can be 0 if you want, but if you want to do it by yourself, you can add in a vacancy rate. Strata expenses, those are the actual ones. Property management expenses, again, that's the actual just renting out the property and collecting rents. Property tax expense is accurate. Utilities, gas and heat paid by the landlord. That's why the rents are relatively not high, but that's why the rents are where they're at, is their landlord takes care of some of the utilities. Monthly mortgage payments, again, a variable rate. I got that as of last week from CIBC. So total of $871. Expenses, leaves cash flow of $104 left over. Annual cash flow, that's times 12. $1,200. Principal reduction, so guaranteed. Again, the benefit of owning rental properties is the tenant will guarantee to pay down your mortgage every single month. With interest rates where they're at right now, let's say the mortgage payment is $369. 60% of it is going directly into your principal reduction to pay down your mortgage. So that's the benefit about where the mortgage rates are at right now. About 60% of your mortgage payment is going down to principal reduction, so it's fantastic. It's best time in the world to start investing in rental properties. Estimated capital appreciation, again, the number can vary between 2%, 3%, 5%, 10%, whatever it varies at. The long-term average across the country is 5.1%, so I just take a conservative number of 3. That's for the last 100 years. I take a conservative number of 3, and then that's what the number works out to. If you're borrowing on your line of credit, paying interest, that interest is a tax deduction, so that can vary whatever it is for yourself. Optional line of credit interest, again, you're borrowing the $28,000 down payment on your line of credit at, say, 3% interest only. The fees on that for a year are $863. So net profit, including all these 3 numbers, is $7,000. Net profit over 5 years, that times 5 is $37,000. Your cash on cash return, so basically you're putting down $28,000 and you're getting back $7,000, which is 26%. That's where the cash on cash return or return on investment is coming from. So pretty basic, pretty good return. Next step, if you take the $28,000, put on your line of credit, and only pay $863 in interest, 863 divided into 7,400. That's the 800%. That's what that means. So basically, just put on your line of credit and have the renters pay it off eventually. And so estimates only, again, based on deemed reliable. Average rent of the actual rent is $1,050 on the nicer units, between $950 and $1,050. Long-term tenants, so just leave them where they're at. Just continue renting it out for positive cash flow. Based on actual strata fees, includes management. RBC mortgage calculator, again, chatted with CIBC recently. They're interested in doing all 7 units that I've got available. Average reduction based on a reduction rate and 5-year net profit calculated annualized increases. So using your line of credit for the down payment increases your cash on cash return significant, obviously. Basically buy it and let the tenant pay it off for you. Interest-only mortgage, same sort of numbers. You just do an interest-only mortgage, so readvanceable line of credit mortgage. That brings the mortgage payments to $267, and so your cash flow basically doubles. So that goes up to $206. But again, you don't get any principal reduction because you're only paying interest only. So you kind of trade off one for the other. More cash flow, but less principal reduction. So your return actually goes down a little bit to 22% rather than the 26% on that one. So it's just an option for people to do. If they want to conserve their cash, they can do and increase their cash flow. They can do an interest-only mortgage. The primary option I'm going to suggest is the final one. It's including mortgage with an optional vendor take-back mortgage. So that's you have to provide the down payment up front, the $28,750. But after close, we can set up a second mortgage for whatever it works out to. It could be up to $25,000. See, we have to go through the bank and see whatever they're comfortable with. But yeah, it could be up to $25,000 back, and then you have a second mortgage in place. I'm going to do it at 0% interest. For a 5-year 0% interest vendor take-back mortgage right there. So, and then we can extend that as well. So if the property hasn't, basically property is going to appreciate in value, mortgage is going to get paid down, cash flow is going to be set aside, and then in 5 years you just refinance and pay out the second mortgage there. So just have the renter, the profits in the property pay for itself. If not, we can extend it a little bit if you want and work something out. Same numbers, rents, whatever are rents and expenses. So total of $871. Cash flow again stays the same. So your net profit's basically the same number. Cash on cash return, if you did it, you paid cash, $28,000 in cash is 26%. If you paid the return using your vendor take back mortgage, so again, I just put $1 on a payment because again, you don't pay me for 5 years, or don't pay the seller for 5 years. So that's $1, again, 199% return, basically. Annual line of credit interest, you're borrowing the $4,000 for the line of credit difference, $113 divided into, but again, and cash required to close minus VTB, $37,450. So Again, you're using your line of credit, say $113 in expense for a year, $800 in expense for a year. So it's return using your line of credit 6,000%. That's where that number comes from. That's what it means. So basically, you just borrow the bank. The bank finances you, and the tenant pays all the bills, and you collect the rent and have money left over, and the tenant pays all the bills, and you take care of all your expenses. So that's how it works. I've got those available on each of the units, or you can just buy them yourself, and you completely own it 100%. I'm not taking a joint venture position in it. I'm just providing the seller financing, and that's it. You own 100% of the profits. It's all yours. It's your property long term. I buy it and hold it for 20 years. It'll be paid off, and your kids can go to university for free. You can have an extra $100,000 or $200,000, about $200,000. Properties will double in value in 25 years easily. So yeah, you can have an extra $250,000 for your retirement. Free and clear, owned free and clear. You just sell it and cash out. Projected future value, again, these are some different analysis. It's 3% for low growth, 6% for moderate growth, and 10% for high growth. So this is what it would work in 5 years from now. These vary. These numbers vary. We can't project this excessively, but on an ongoing basis, it can. Again, the long-term average across the last 100 years is 5.1% across the country. So objectives in summary: purchase a positive cash flow unit. Project is located in Merritt, BC, so you can come out and drive out there and see it if you'd like to inspect. Closing date is October 15th. That's when I have to remove conditions on the offer. Units already rented, so want to make sure it takes about 48 hours to get your financing approved. So this is because the bank says at the value that these are at, it's basically a home run. You just qualify and you're good to go. Units are already rented in place. Rental warranty, again, part of the that's being provided. I'll make sure it's rented for the next 5 years, and I'll pay any mortgage that if there's a vacancy, I'll pay the mortgage for that month. Cash flow monthly: property is expected to provide a positive cash flow of $104 per month, depending on down payment and interest mortgage over 30-year amortization. You can do it to 25 years amortization if you want, but the bank's willing to offer 30 years because it doesn't need to be insured by CMHC because you're putting down 20%. Opportunity: partner with yourself, pick a JV option, qualify for the mortgage, or pay the down payment, and you're good to go. So it's your deal. Exit strategies: always make sure you planned. So secure the contract with 20% down payment, hold for 5 years and sell for a profit. Hold for 20 years and sell for a profit. Finance the property with 20% down, rent for positive cash flow and long-term growth. Refinance in 5 years. Just pull out your excess cash and refinance in 5 years. That works too. You can use that to invest. Closing the property: imply a rent-to-own or agreement for sale option strategy for cash up front, monthly cash flow, as well as predetermined sales price. So you get it under contract, you fix it up a little bit more than it already is, maybe, and then you sell it for $150,000, seller financing, an agreement for sale or rent-to-own to a buyer, because it's still cheaper for your renter to buy it at $150 with a mortgage than it is for them to rent to you for $1,000. So that's why it's actually a really good deal for the renter to do rent-to-own. So yeah, you can flip it, make some profit there as well. Again, can't guarantee any of these strategies. Seek your own legal and tax advice. The disclaimer says as much as well. So yeah, chat with a lawyer if you want as you go further in the process. You can review the paperwork. It's a standard MLS listing contract. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I'm disclosing that, so I'm acting on my own behalf. And so yeah, you should. They'll give you all the paperwork, and you can have your lawyer put it all together for you. My name, Thane, direct line 604-765-1490. My email address is tlanz, so tlanz @sutton.com. And so, yeah, just give me a buzz or text if you have any questions. Appendix: this is the website I'm putting together for the project. So rentandmerit.com it'll be. Thanks for visiting. Basically just a lead capture website, gets people interested or gets their information. And then if there's any vacancies, we just go through our rental list and fill up the vacancies. So turnkey rental website, including all these advertisements to post on a Craigslist, Kijiji, also included. And again, the city of Merritt has some great information. It's growing. They're putting in a multi-billion-dollar biomass project that's going in, that's creating about 200 some odd jobs. So there's lots of economic development taking place. It's basically kind of a nice little hub on the right. It's right at the end where the Coquihalla highway exits out and goes into the regular highway. That's where Merritt's located. So yeah, it's where the Merritt Mountain Music Fest is. A lot of the ranchers in the surrounding area, they retire and they moved to the quote-unquote big city. So they want to just be here with their kids and family. So that's why it's a nice little family community. So you just go on to merritt.ca, City Services, Economic Development. It's about an 80-page document there. So you can have access to that. So if you have any questions, my name's Thane, and I'll be happy to answer anything. My number again, 604-765-1490. Email address is tlanz, so tlanz@sutton.com. If you have any questions, I've got 7 units in total. 2 are already taken. I think 3 or 4 are pretty much already taken. So I got about 3 left over. So you want to be acting. I want to have them all sold by the end of the week, or this week or next, probably this week. So I want to get going on it pretty quickly. So give me a buzz back if you're in the slightest interested or just have any questions, and I'll explain how everything else works over the phone. And we can have a coffee as well. Thanks very much, and have a great day.